Meanwhile, I want all the
Yes, miss.
participants.
You can start.
Yeah. I just want to know, like, if the participants have done with the Xampp installation. Yesterday, I had shared it over the group. So, if you have any problems there in installation, I'll just cross verify. Meanwhile, by the time I come for installation, I just want to give you what that software is, why we have to go for that software. Now, to have a quick recall, what we have done in our the previous 2 days is we had seen what is Bootstrap. So under Bootstrap, which says it's a package which consists of your HTML and CSS. So along with that, you have another important feature is the JavaScript. So earlier we used to have a separate coding done on each of these concepts. So it was taking a lot of time. Why not a common package where all these features have been put together, and I can avoid something related to the scripting, and I can avoid the information related or the coding related to CSS explicitly. So because of this, everything got embedded and we got an important application called as Bootstrap. So this framework includes all this. So based on that, with the help of this, we have studied how we can do only the front end design. So bear with my handwriting. I'm just using my mouse to write on the screen. So we were able to just get into the screen designing, or in other terms, we know what we have to display on the form. So the only with Bootstrap, we were able to do other than designing nothing. So it's only the front end design. Now what we have to do is, once our designing is ready, why it is just only front end designing? Because if at all, if you prepare any form there, or if you have any button to be executed, or if you want to click any button, the data which is available on the screen will not go anywhere. It will be still lying on your browser. So your front end is nothing but the client browser. So it is just the client's browser what you are operating. The browser could be anything, either your Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Mozilla, but whatever you are taking, just try to get into your browsers which are with the latest version. So all the latest components, either Bootstrap or any other softwares what you are using, see that you are into the latest versions of the browsers. So very flexible one would be your Google Chrome. So it's always better getting into your designing part with the Google Chrome. All our features with Bootstrap works very well with the Google Chrome. Now I said, like, we have done in the past 2 days only the front end designing. What about the back end? If I click a submit button, yeah. Hello. Okay, if at all, if I want to click a button and send the data back to the server, now server where it will be available, we are very much familiar that the term server, the minute we hear, it is like one common place where entire data will be put up there, and we will be extracting the information from that place. So the server is there, and whatever components we are designing, say your buttons or your text boxes or the images or the headings or any information what you put on this design, on click of it, it will not go anywhere, it will be still lying. That's how your static page is. Now I have to make it dynamic. I click the button here and immediately the information whatever I have used here, it should go to the server. And that feature is very important, which happens when you have your backend. So where your server will be at the background of your screen or at the back of your browser, you will be having your servers. And this, what will happen, the components what you have designed, it will get into the server, and in the server, assume you want to store some information. I have used my username and password, I have to put into the server. Then what you need, it is not only authenticating that information coming from the browser is available in the server. Other than that, I have to put the data back into the database. So in the database, you would have created different tables, and how to create tables and all you might have studied in the Dbms, that is SQL, through SQL queries, you would have learned how to create a database and a table. Now that database and table will be available in the server. I click on a button, the information goes to the server. In turn, if I have any information, if I want any information to be sent to the server and store in the database, then I have to make use of this database. Yes. Now today's session, what we will do, we will try to create a connectivity between the front end, whatever we have designed so far, and put back into the backend. Backend is your server. Now, we have students in our class with different languages, right? Now, each one of their mother tongue would be different, but still we all would try to understand the language English, right? Now, what the presenter or what the students will do, even if they have any doubts, they'll try to come back with their mother tongue and try to understand through their mother tongue. Then what teacher has to do? Teacher should be able to well convert that language and get it translated back into the required language what student is able to understand. So for that, what we need a medium, we need a language even for the server to understand in the form of a language, how it can understand the data from the browser and get back how it can understand and put back the information on to the browser. So today we will see that details. So I'll quickly get through the points what we have, which are very much required for a server. So what we have to do here, yesterday I was just telling about what is a static website and a dynamic website. I hope the screen is visible. Yeah. One request to the participants, if at all, if you have any doubts, please unmute and speak out, because since I'll be sharing my screen, I'll not be able to switch over back to the chat box to view your messages if you're typing over there. Okay, now let us see the next step. So I was just telling you that you need a server to interact. So the screen what you see here would definitely tell you, see the image. I have a web browser. Web browser is where you are using your Google Chrome, where internet is connected over there, and you have designed a form and the design is available on the screen here. You have designed it and the design is available on the screen. Now on click of a button, the information has to go to some location, and that location will be a server. And what the server should be? It should be a web server, because the information is passing over through internet. Then I need a server which should be a server where it can understand the internet language. So it will go to the server here. This is your server. Now once the server verifies that the information coming from the browser is meant for this server only and authenticates it, and if it has got any action to be performed, say it has to store this data into the server, or else it has to verify yes the username and password is correct, So if it is correct, then it has to send back the information, right? The server has to tell that yes, you are the same person who have logged in into your mail, and yes, I am authenticating you. Go ahead for your next page. So the server has to send the information back to your browser. So our monitor or our browser should receive an information telling that yes, you have logged in successfully. So this is your entire process, what the web server will do, if at all, if the content on your browser has to be communicated to the server. So this basic client server communication you might have already come across either in Java or even in the network subject, computer network subject. But still we will try to understand with respect to web. So the point what you find here is what type of information I'm trying to communicate. I'm trying to communicate to the web server with the help of your HTML pages. What is there in the HTML pages? I'll have images, right? Or I'll have the forms which has been entered, maybe the registration form or maybe any kind of login forms. So the information is available there, and I would have entered the data here, and this data has to go and sit inside the database. So if you want to have such communication, then I need a server which can understand that. Okay. Now, which are all the different types of web servers we have? The first one is Apache HTTP web server, and another one is Internet Information Services and Sun Java System. Few more are there, but the vast set of group who will be using will be your Apache HTTP server, which will be very much flexible and easy to work on with the data. So this is about the basic, and few more details on to your server is we have a server which is very much readily available, which is called as a Zamp, or you have Vamp server. Now for our purpose, where the browser which is in the form of HTML, which is in the form of markup language, this language has to be understood by the server. So the server can understand this markup language, then I need not keep on installing one by one. So earlier what used to happen, you should have a server, okay, then server installation has to be done, and if I'm writing or if I have designed my HTML page, then this language has to be understood. So I have to install an Apache server, the server. Then since server has to understand a specific language, and that language is called PHP, okay, and it has to understand the scripting language, and if I have a database, then I have to specify which database I am using, either MySQL or Oracle, okay, or you have any other databases, so or an SQL server. So you have to have each individual installation separately. You have to keep on installing them, and you should write down a code which can integrate all together and then do the coding. But now what is happening? You are avoiding all these installation procedures and get into one single step of a package which comprises of all these put together. So what it is doing, the internet will take the request from the browser. Browser is what we have designed our web page, where you will try to open that using your Google Chrome or even your Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer, if you are trying to open, please use version 10 and above, IE 10 and above. Otherwise, the components will not show the actual output, how they are supposed to look into. Okay, and through this internet, you are sending the information to the server back to your browser. So this I had explained you. Now I'm just telling you about the very important package or the software which you are supposed to use is your XAMPP. So the installation steps which I had already given to you is on installation of this. So what it is, each character of this stands for every other software which has to be installed. So A stands for Apache here, M stands for MySQL, and P stands for PHP. And P also has got Perl. That's how while you browse it, you will be having two P's over there. Right now, we are not using Perl anywhere, but still our entire package works very well. And this is the most required server or most utilized server anywhere if you are trying to use a web server. Okay, now what is the reason that you have to use this, why you have to install on your system? Because when I design a form and if I want to send the information, we all have Google accounts, right? We have, what we will do, we will type our username and password here, and on click of a button, on click of a submit button, what will happen? This username and password will get into the Google server. They'll go into the Google server. They will validate, yes, it's the same username and password are authenticated and they have matched equally, and it will send back the information, right? On click of a button here, the information will go to the Google server. Now, every time when I design a form, I as a starter, I as the basic programmer, I cannot access Google server, or I cannot access any Amazon server or any server which I'll not be able to set up. So if at all, if I have to work on and learn about the web communication, then I have to set up a local server. So I need a server. Where this local server will be, I will be preparing, or I will be hosting a local server in my own desktop. So the desktop itself will act as a server for me. Whatever login and password I have designed, this data, instead of getting into Google server, it will go to my local host. It will go to my local server where I have set up a server on my system itself. So that to do that, you need a software where it can understand, your system has to understand that it is a local server. Then we will be making use of this XAMPP. So XAMPP is a local host or a server to test its website, test its web pages, so that it can communicate and treat as if it is a main server. Okay, so this is all about why you have to get into the XAMPP. Similar to XAMPP, you have something called as Vamp also. Yeah, similar to this, you have Vamp also. Vamp, it indicates that you will have as if MP, where A is for Apache server, which is an HTTP server, M is for MySQL, P is for PHP, and W stands for Windows. So this is another type of a server similar to your XAMPP. And if at all, if I want to use the same setup of server onto a Linux operating system, and then you have to use a software called LAMP. So where L stands for Linux, and the remaining A, MP, Apache, MySQL, and PHP remain same. So these are the different softwares based on your OS. Then let us see that if your server has to be considered as an interaction from your client, so you can understand through this diagram very much better. I said till now we have done with the front end designing part, which is said to be a client side. And since we are trying to develop a responsive web page through Bootstrap, we see that it is compatible to mobile. to your tab, and even to the desktop. For all these different devices, we are able to do it directly through your Bootstrap, right? So we are able to design the front end. Next, what we will do, on click of this, irrespective of device you are using, the information has go to the server. So server is there, and see at the bottom what you see, there are some set of languages, because the server has to understand the information coming from the client. Then not only understanding, it has to do some operation, it has to put the data into the database. So then we have what is called as your SQL database. So it need not be always MySQL, you can have an SQL server, Oracle, you can have MongoDB also as your database. So all put together, what we are doing, we are having a communication between client and server along with the database connectivity. Then our main aim for this 3 days workshop is that we will be able to complete a full stack web development. So full stack web development stands that you do the designing, which will be at the front end, and understand the communication to the server with the server side scripting, and finally put the data into the database, or any time you want to retrieve the data from the database, then also you have to have this communication. So this we have done with. Quickly, let us see which are all those server-side scripting languages. This is the latest one, which is very much required, and if at all, if you guys are interested, we will just go ahead for the next session later, like getting into the latest technologies. If you hear about Angular, or it is a mean stack. So mean stack web development. So this is a latest web application where these will be used: Angular, Node, Express.js, and the MongoDB. So you have a complete web application full stack development with the latest technologies. So there, if you are using Angular, then you have to use Node.js, and it has been used on these applications on Uber, LinkedIn, and Netflix. So these applications are using Node.js as a server-side script. And for our today's session, we will be understanding through PHP. And which are all those applications which are built through PHP? Facebook, Wikipedia, and WordPress. So these are built using your server-side scripting called as Java. Now with basic Java, we have these, but even then again, this is getting converted back to these languages, to the latest languages of Angular. Next, we have Ruby, but it is not much into use for web development, but still we can find few of these which are being done. And everyone would be very much interested on the Python, right? You might be thinking how Python would be helping us out with web application. You might have heard it as a programming language, or you might have heard it even as a language for machine learning, right? But Python also has a flexibility to create as a web application. So for that, you need another important library called Flask. So using Flask, you can use Python as a web application, and you have few of these which are being built. They are YouTube, Instagram, and all. Okay, now as I have given you the basic on your web information, let us quickly get into our server-side scripting for this workshop, which is a PHP. So PHP stands for, if you can quickly get into the points which are there. So it stands for Hypertext Preprocessor, or initially it was named as a personal home page. So where I would try to design a web page and so that it can communicate to the server. and later on it brought down into as a hypertext preprocessor. So it's a freely available open source software which can download and install on any kind of platforms, and it is portable. You have a software installed on on Linux operating system, the same code you can run it even on Windows, and it has it has an ability to manage the dynamic content. So the dynamic content is what you have the information from your browser sending back to the database, and from database it communicates back to your browser. So it's a dynamic content where databases, session trackings, right? This is very much useful whenever you want to build any kind of e-commerce in the sense your online shopping carts, Amazon, Flipkart, Mitra, right? Any of these shopping carts you are using, then definitely there should be a dynamic content. You search for any particular product, immediately from the server it will send back the information back onto your device. Either you are using mobile or your laptop, it fetches back the data, right? So it's a dynamic representation. Now you have few more SQLs or a few more databases which you can integrate along with your PHP. Now let us see how actually the syntax would look like. So for your syntax, any scripting, if at all, if you are using PHP, it should start with a less than symbol, put a question mark, and start with the letters PHP. So this word, complete word PHP is very much required. Have a less than symbol and a question mark and PHP. You can keep on writing any number of lines, whatever code you want to do it, but end this PHP script back with a question mark and a greater than symbol. So as we have angular brackets for our HTML, and similar to that, even PHP has got this angular brackets, but it should start and end with a question mark before that. So you can see the code here, and every programming language definitely will have a comment line. So we have comment lines here. You have two options to have a single line comment. One is hash. Say, let us suppose I'll write it as welcome. So I will make this as a comment line. So I'll be putting it as hash.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
So this PHP acts as a mediator, ma'am, between front end and back end?
It's not as a mediator. It understands. It's a language which can understand your front end. Your front end is designed using your HTML. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
CSS is meant only for the designing, but HTML is a markup language where you are trying to design your web page with the help of components.
Yes, ma'am.
Right now, that component, whatever, let us say you have username and password, two text boxes you have used, right?
Yeah.
And a button is there, and two text boxes you would have entered ABC as a username, and password is 123. Okay. And I have a submit button. If you click submit button, you have designed this in HTML, and when you click this, the data will not go anywhere. The data will be still lying there on your screen.
Yeah, ma'am.
Right. You would have tried that. But what I want to do is, I want to send this data, your ABC and your 123, the password, whatever I have entered, though it will be in encrypted form. It will be in stars or it will be in bullets, right? Though it is in encrypted form, it has to, I want to send it to the server. The server has to authenticate, yes, ABC has got password 123. So I have to give access permission to open or to use the application. Who has to do that? The server has to do. Server, how it will understand? Server understands with a specific language. That language is your PHP.
How do we communicate, ma'am, between the front end and back end, ma'am?
That's what I haven't started, and that's what I'm telling. I'm just giving you the introduction as we go ahead, because if it has to understand, I have to make this ID. I have to give an ID to my text box. This
Okay.
ID will be sent to the server. Now, server
We can make it as a different file, like HTML file and CSS. We have one file, and like example Java I'm using as a backend, so I have some other file. So I can make interaction between the both.
how do you make?
That's what I'm asking. How do we do that? Like if I want to
Yes, yes,
connect to the front end to the back end.
yes.
Ma'am, basically, how will the PHP interact with the server? I think that's his question.
Yes, I understood.
No, not about the PHP, ma'am. I'm asking how do we interact from the back end to the front end to back end? Interaction.
Wait, let me answer.
Yeah.
You're directly getting into the form designing. I'll just show you one application where you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a form here. I hope it is visible. You have a
Yes.
form. I've got
Yes.
just two text boxes. One is for the name and one is the semester, and I have just put an insert button, right?
Yeah.
I'll put now my name and the semester I'll give. Okay. Click on insert button. Now what it has done, it has sent the information back to the server, and it has retrieved back from my database, and it is able to put me back onto the browser like this. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
How this is the actual communication. How it will do is, you should have an address given to your text box, so that this address will be understood by the server. Now we get couriers how? Based on our house numbers, right? Or based
Yes,
on
yes.
right? So we, even your boxes, your every element should have an ID. Remember, yesterday I was just talking you about. Let me show. Yeah, you can see this. You will be having ID for every component, and based on that ID you will be accessing. See this name, we will give name for the component. Name is name for what? Name for the text box. Which text box? Where you are typing the characters. And another name, another text box is for semester. You have to give a name for it. So this name I have given in HTML, but server will understand only this language. So this name has to go to the server. It has to encrypt, or it has to accept or convert this. This is what? This is a markup language. It is a markup language, right? Markup language has to get converted into this scripting, and it will authenticate, it will validate and send back the information. So I hope your doubt is clear now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Shall we go ahead?
Yeah.
So we will do this all. I thought I'll try to show it only at the end. I think now you are able to proceed. Now your PHP has to understand this language. How it will understand, that we have to know. So we should know some information about PHP. Let us assume I haven't filled any information, or instead of semester, which should be a numeric 1, 2, 3, 4. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, if I put first, and instead of 2 I will make it as second, then the text box should not accept, and it should put me a message that enter only the numeric values. Now that definitely we will not be able to do using your HTML. How it will understand? How the user in the sense, we on the screen, if we have to understand that instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, I should not write it as FIRST and THIRD, third, fourth and all, then PHP has to pose a error here. It has to send back us information. And that language you have to understand now. I'll quickly get into that language format so that you can directly clear your doubts. Now these are the command lines, and every language will have operators, variables, and any variable if you are using, you are supposed to prefix with a $. Right? Now we will just concentrate only on how the server will be receiving the information, how the server can accept the data, server can receive the variables. Now assume this X is what? This X is your name of the text box. What is Y? Y is the name of the semester. Now what type of operation I am using? Plus addition operation. Assume I have purchased 2 items. Say I have purchased a pen. How many? I have taken 2 pens. Then I have got one more text box to enter the price or a cost, which is 10 rupees. On submit button, I should have a total here. Total is how much? I have to multiply 10 into 2. So I should be able to get 20 here. Fine. Now HTML doesn't do any kind of computations. It will know only to design. It will know only to style. Your PHP has to understand what it will do. It will take the value from this text box. From the pen text box, it will take the value 2. From cost text box, it will take the value 10. Then it has to perform a computation. What computation? See here we have. It will assign a variable X to 2 and a variable Y to 10, and it will compute. And how much it gave? It gave me the answer as 10 into 2, 20. Now this 20 has to return back to your browser. I hope you are getting now what we are supposed to do. Are you able to understand, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we have 2 text boxes which are designed here in HTML. We have entered it without any server. If you click on it, then the data will be lying there only on the screen. But if you use the server, this data has to go to the server and it has to perform 10 into 2 and give you the answer. But how the server will understand? It will be understanding based on the data from this text box will have an address. It will read the address coming from this and it will do the operation. So you have on the screen different operations what you can do. Similarly, you can have some arithmetic assignment operators also. Any variable you take it should have a dollar here. So these are few assignment operators, and we have these operators in all the programming languages. You use C++, Java, Python, whichever language you take, definitely every language you have these operators. Then assignment operators, sorry, this is logical operator. We have logical operators. So you can as well use your logical operators. Let us say I have first name and second name. First name I have put Shobha and second name is Rani, and I have to concatenate them or I have to combine them. Then I can do that. Or I just want to see that your first name is there or second name is there. Still you have to send the information to the server. Then you can use OR. So these are the operators. Then similarly, we can have the comparison operators. So you can just note down.
All these PDF you will be sending in a group, no, ma'am?
Yeah.
All these slides, ma'am, whatever you are showing, ma'am, you'll be sending in a group, no, ma'am?
Yes. But I hope you are able to follow, so that it would be easy for me to directly switch on for the code. Now coming back to arrays. So as a programming language, which all structures you have in any programming language, even here PHP also has got all those features. It has variables, operators, functions, arrays. Then you have string operations, you have regular expressions. So whatever you take, everything is possible because the entire computation will be done only in the server. HTML is only for design. It only knows how to make it very beautiful, how to make it very responsive or an attractive page. But only server can understand whether it has to add it or whether it has to delete it. The server has to find out all this. So in that process, you have an information to understand about the language. So the students who doesn't have laptop or who are not able to install your XAMPP onto your systems yet, I will try to give you another option which even you can do it through mobiles, but only to some extent, not as a HTML, but just for understanding your PHP script. So here we will be understanding about arrays. So I'll just show you the arrays part. Yeah. Now, all of us know about arrays in our C, right? In a C language or C++ or Java, till now, whatever we have, which all languages you have learned, every one of would have known that how to create an array and why an array is. So it's a having collection of same data types. So it's a numeric data type. And here we have three types of arrays. What are they? Indexed arrays, associative, and multidirectional array. So I'll be quickly showing you the output so that it would be easy for you to get an idea about the scripting language. So I said that you should have PHP syntax here. So this is the syntax, and at the end also you can find the syntax. Check out. At the end also you have this, and at the beginning also you have this. So before proceeding further, let me show you the installation setup. Guys, you have any doubts in the installation process? Did you find?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so all your installations are done. So if it is done, you have to go to your start programs from here, or you can search if you are having Windows 7 and 10, then get into your control panel, XAMPP control panel, then it will open up here. A window will be opened, and as I said that you have to start both the servers, and they should be green color. Make sure that whichever system you are using, however you are using, whenever you are starting this, it has to be in green color. And you have few more information like which port, what is the port ID, and which ports this servers are using, either MySQL and Apache. So Apache is acting as a server, and MySQL is the database. So I have started both, and you can see the log details here. Both have been started. Now, once they are in green color, next what we have to do, I'll just show you where I have put my XAMPP. The minute you install, by default, it will be installed inside C drive. So you can see here, inside C drive, this is your C drive. It will be there in XAMPP. Get into XAMPP. If you want to change the location, you can do it during installation. Get into htdocs, and here you have to create a folder. I have created a folder here, which is Web 2020. So C, XAMPP, htdocs, and you have to create a folder. It will not be existing. The folders will not be existing until you don't create a folder. You will not be able to see the interaction of the server on the browser. So create a folder, give any name, whatever you like, but a folder has to be created. So please note the syntax and the sign or the case of this folder name. What I have done, it is Web 2020. Now come back to your browser. I got a browser here. I'll open up, mention as HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, localhost You can see here what you have. HTTP localhost, and the folder name is what I have created is as web 2020. So click on that. Immediately the list of files which are available there in the folder will be looked up. See here, I have all these files, and don't ever try to open the file right from this drives. Whenever you are using server, always open your local host. You have to start your server. You have to start the server, come back to the local host, come to this local host area, then only you have to run a program. Okay, now I'll just quickly show you one small sample. What I'll do, I'll try to write the small sample with a syntax. I said you should have it as an angular bracket and question mark, put PHP. Then what I'll do, to print any statement in C, we have printf, and in C++ you have got C in, C out, right? And similarly, you have a statement called echo in PHP, and I'll try to type a code as welcome, and any statement you use it should be terminating with a semicolon. So as I said, the starting syntaxes are there, and I want to print the statement as welcome. Now here you have to print this output. This welcome output should come on a browser. It has to display on a browser. Now what you have done, you have written a server side scripting. So when the server is communicating, there is no client. The code is there in the server, but it has to display back on the browser itself. It will not have its own GUI. PHP doesn't have any designing. PHP doesn't have any GUI. So you have to save it now. Where do I save? Please make note of this. Where you have to save? Go to C drive, XAMPP, htdocs, and the folder what you have created. I have created web 2020. Now come to this place and give a file name. I'll put it as testweb.php, and don't forget to choose this option here. Give an extension as PHP, and don't forget to use this file type as all files. Otherwise, by default, it will be saved as .txt, even though if you use PHP. Even if you put extension as PHP, by default, Notepad will add txt if you don't select this option. So please make sure you have to use all files. Okay, I have what name I have given for this code, just to display welcome, testweb.php. Click on save. Okay, now we have opened the server here. Let me refresh. When I refresh, what did I get? I got the code here. See, I got the file name testweb.php when it is created on 30th/6/2021, right now at 256, and this is the size of the file. Okay, now if you have, you are supposed to see the output, right? The statement has got only one print statement. Now what I'll do, I have to click on this and see the output. It has displayed on the browser. So this is the first communication what server has understood. There is no communication from the client side, but the server has understood that it has got some script within itself. What it has to do, it has to display the output on the browser. So we have a browser here. It has read the statement through echo, and it has posted its output on the screen. So this is your first sample program what we have done using your PHP. Now similarly, let us have the arrays. So the code what you have here is very much visible, and I said any variable should be prefixed with a dollar, and I have, since it's an array, I am trying to pass on the values in the form of what? Index values 0, 1 and 2. So I have assigned this here. Since these are all text string values, I have put the codes. Then I have used a very important print statement, and this print underscore r is what? It will be printing all the values of your array, of your creation of array elements in the form of array notation only. Then you have to use it as print underscore array. So what I'll do, I'll just take these lines. What we have done, we have just now created a page. I'll put over here, okay, we have key values. Let us save it and get back to our browser. Go back, let us refresh it and click on the same test web page. I have added the content in the same file, right? Click on the test web page. See what output did we get? We have welcome. The very first time what we have done, we have welcome, and followed by an array with a set of elements. What are they? 0 index is assigned with red, 1 is assigned with green, 2 is assigned with blue, right? Now our array is displayed. Now you can expect this format only because you are using a statement called as print r. Okay, so this is how you can create an indexed array. Similarly, you have called as associative array, where you have something called as hash notation, where key and value pair representations are there. So when you want to represent the array in the form of key and value, in hash you might have learned this, a key and this is a value. This is a key and a value, and you have to use this notation. What is that? Equal to and a greater than symbol. So this should be used for your associative array, where you are trying to represent in the key value pairs. So this is about your array notation. Let me show you the representation with the help of strings. So all of us know how to. I'll try to comment. So I said the comment, you can use it as double slash, or else if you have a multi-line comment, then like in C, you can use slash star and close it with star and slash. So I have used another statement here. What this will do, this will try to find the length of the string. What is the string? String is hello world. I should find out, right? Now your HTML doesn't understand how many letters I have given in my login name, but server has to understand. If you remember your password strength, if you remember when you are giving the password box for any registration or any login applications, they'll say that password is weak. You should have minimum more than 8 or minimum 8 or more than 8 characters. So when you have this question, then you have to keep on changing. Now this characters will be validated by your PHP. HTML doesn't do anything. It knows only to create a text box. That's all. All validations are done only at the PHP level. So PHP will understand how, first of all, to check what is the length. If the length is just 4 letters, then it says that the password is weak, or the name is very small. You have to add more letters. So it all depends on which application you are using. So let us run this. I have still saved the page under test web itself. So let us see the output. Go back to your browser and refresh and click on test web. See the size. Size is how much? 12. HELLO. How many? 5 letters. With a space, it is 6. And you have world, WORLD. How many? 5. So you have 11. I have put an exclamatory mark. So this is 12. Got it? So this is how it does a string length. Now I was just telling you one more option. If you have not installed or you want to test yourself at the command prompt, you have a very important website, which is jdoodle.com. So you can, if you have logged in through mobile, you can just check for yourself. Type on jdoodle.com. It is one such very good website where it has a combination of your compilers and editors together. So you find around 50 plus 60 plus languages where you can work without installing anything onto your desktop. So here I have got PHP. So you can see you have all these languages. I'll use PHP. So click on PHP here. I get an environment. Now there will be some code which is already available. If you want, you can just check out how to assign a value to a variable. I have assigned, there is another value assigned to this variable. Operation is done, arithmetic operation addition, assigned the result to Z. What it is done? It is done with sum of these two. So you can use the print statement or you can use echo statement. Only difference is echo doesn't need to have bracket. Braces are not required. But for print, you should use this brackets. So you have to just type the code as if you are typing down in this notepad and click on execute button. So you can see the answer here at the bottom of the screen. Sum of x plus y is how much? 35. 10 plus 25. 10 plus 25, you got it as 35. So this is an online compiler or an online interpreter which you can do. So just now I was talking you about making use of this string length. So those who doesn't have laptops or who have not done the installation, I'll just remove this existing code and just type on string length, the same string length which we have tried to see using server. But without server, let us do it on a command line. So what I'll do, I'll click on execute button and you can see the output here. The string length of hello world is 12. So this is another such option where we can just make use of the facility. Similar to string length, you can as well have your word count also. So word count, why we might be requiring that whenever you are typing the address. So let us assume you are having an address bar. You have to give your address for any application, and when you are typing the characters, it will count the number of words and say that the address size is exceeded, so you have to reduce it, or else your name size is exceeded, some information, it could be anything, so you have to reduce it. Then we need this option. So what I have got a string as the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So this is a word. It has got how many words? We have, or PHP has got a function called string underscore str underscore word underscore count. So the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So totally 9 words are there. When I run it, I should be able to get 9 words in the output. So we got this. So this is about the strings. We have seen about the arrays. We have seen the strings and the operators. Then you have few more functions called as sort. I'll not touch upon that because we are very much interested on the form communication, that is from HTML to your database. So let us see that part. As I said, like similar to your any programming language, even PHP also has got the conditional statements and looping statements. So you have if statement, you have switch case, you have looping statements for, do while, for each. So these are all there. If you try to work on, then it would be a very good thing which might help you out while developing a project here. So I have few of the examples. If possible, I'll try to share this document. And I said even PHP has got even functions. So where you are trying to call a function and define a function. So all such features are also available there. Now, coming back to very important part of your server scripting is regular expression. So why we need, guys, any doubts as of now? Shall I proceed? Do you have any break or any doubt clarifications are there? Let me know.
No, ma'am, no doubts.
Okay, so I'll just continue. Maybe by end of the session, you can once again interact back. So, why do we need this regular expressions? So just now I was just telling that when you are type the password, and every software, whenever you are creating a login and password, he says that there should be a special character. Right, there should be a star or @ symbol should be there, and there you should have a numeric, and you should have an uppercase letter should be there, numeric should be there, that is numbers, and special characters, right, or dot, and you should have a uppercase letter should be there and a lowercase also. So you should have all these. Now if you have all these, then the box what you have typed, the text what you have typed inside the box in HTML page, you will do everything, but the scripting at the PHP should validate all this. So it should check that the value from here has got uppercase, has got special character, has got numbers. So it should validate and see that yes, password has got good strength. So it has to say good strength. Now I want the similar application or a similar feature back when I am designing my website. So then you should know very important concept called as regular expression. So here are few of the regular expressions. What are they? These are the expression characters. So what it will do, if you have a character between A, B, C, then it should be given within the square brackets. And if any character is there is a lowercase, then you have to put between A to Z. If it is an uppercase, then you have to put within the bracket. How do we do? Let us see. I have put S is equal to SHOBHE. Okay. I have assigned a variable name as Shobha, and this Shobha is coming from where? From the text box. So it has come from the text box, and I have taken this Shobha into a variable called yes. So now I have to verify if this yes is within the characters between A to Z. Then if it is, then I say yes is successful, is successful. Successful with a given set of name. It is matching or match is found. If you have to do that, then you have to use this. This is where you will be using your square bracket. Similarly, if it has to be uppercase, then I have to mention it as capital A to Z. And if I have to match with the numbers, say you have your mobile numbers should be there between 0 to 9. You should have 10 letters. Mobile number should be entered in the length of 10. So I have to use string length. Remember, just now I have used string length. Put on the string length and check, or the count you have, you can check this and find they are 10. And then you have to enter numbers only. It should not be ABC. So you have to cross verify. No, either you can check it as 0 to 9, or else you can see that not A to Z. And if you have capital letters, then you can as well add this capital A to Z. Neither small a to Z or not capital A to Z. Then it will be numeric. Okay, so these are the important features. I'll just show you one example with that, and few more functions related to that, where you have match, replace, splitting. So these are used. I'll just show you one example. Yeah. So which is that? It is string. Yeah. So here is a code where I have created, and it has to see that, find out which all letters are starting from yes. So the caret symbol states that it will perform the searching with the first letter. Yes, yes. So at the output, I should get these two names. Then how you have to represent the pattern? It should be between the slashes. And what I'm trying to search? I'm trying to search the first character. And if it is between a numeric value, then I have to show that like this. So this is your pattern. Say yes is equal to 0 to 9, or mobile number. Mobile number is equal to between 0 to 9. If it is between 0 to 9, then I say that mobile number is valid. Okay, so we can do that here. I'll just copy this and show the execution directly in the online compiler. I'll put it down here. So what it is doing, I have created an array here with 3 string values and assigned it to a dollar name. And the function for matching is compare the pattern. Pattern is what? It should see that if any string is there with the starting letter yes, then from where? From this array. So I have to pass on dollar names and assign the result to dollar match. So what I am doing, it has to compare for all the values in your array, right? Array will be always indexed with how many number of elements, as a of 0, a of 1 and a of 2. But we have 3 elements. It will do only for once. If it has to be repeated for all the elements in array, I'm just using for each statement. Okay, so for each, what I have to do, it has to compare all the matches and list them out. Then click on execute. See here, we have Shobha and Sudha. Now I will let you know the very important part here, what PHP has got. We always been listening till now is like your PHP is a server-side scripting, but along with that, PHP has got another important feature to embed the HTML tags in it. So right now I have commented all this. So this is comment. Since stars slash is there, these are comments. Now what I'll do, I'll embed a HTML code here. Echo. What I'll do, I'll put h2 tag. I'll embed here a h2 tag within the codes. Okay. What I want to print, I will print it as welcome to. So I have this statement, and this statement has to be displayed in h2 tag. So we have to close the tag, then I'll give it as h2 here, close the tag and put within the quotes and end the statement with a semicolon. So what is there? The first line is that, second line is a comment line, the remaining array statements are commented. What I have got is echo, which I am embedding my HTML tag over here. So I'll save this. File name is still test web. So I hope you can see the screen now. Welcome to web workshop is a h2 tag. H2 tag we are getting, though it is a HTML tag, but we are able to put it inside a server through what? Through your PHP. Now PHP is able to understand your HTML, where it can embed itself into its code. Then this 12 is the string length, what we have put in the code here. So this is another important feature of your PHP. Now we have done with this. Then let me directly switch on. There are few file handling options like C, C++ and Java. We have files related. I'll not touch this files part. I'll just get into the database connectivity. Yes. So here on your server, if you have to create a database, then come back to your XAMPP control panel, check out your MySQL and type and click on this admin button. So the minute you click on admin button, it will open up a page like this, which is a PHP MyAdmin, or else you can as well type it as on the browser in the URL bar as PHP MyAdmin. So click on this, then also you will be able to get on this. Now what we will do, we will try to see the form. I'll just show you the form. Yeah. So just now I had shown you the demo, right? For the same form, I'll show you the execution, how PHP actually will understand this data given inside and get the information to the database. So here what we have got a 2 text box and a button and one h2 tag is there. So let us see the code. Guys, if possible, try to install Notepad++, which will be very flexible to clear your syntax. So it's just a basic HTML code. Now, here, whenever you wanted your HTML, Bootstrap HTML onto the server, please make sure your CSS and JS, which were there here. Remember, in Bootstrap we had these two folders, right? These two folders are very important for designing your HTML page or the front end. Copy these two folders and put inside your Vamp. So just check out where I have put now. I have copied these two and I have pasted CSS and JS inside the server folder. Server folder is what? Web 2020. Okay. If you do that, then when you open your browser, it will come like this. You can make out, if you have already worked with the basic HTML, how the text boxes would be. Text boxes would be like abrupt with sharp edges, and they'll be very small, and they'll be very narrow. You will not be able to increase the size of your text box also. And if it is Bootstrap, immediately it will be the rounded corners. You will have rounded corners and the components will be sliding full page. And this is because we are using div class is equal to container. So just check back the code here. Since I have put my Bootstrap CSS and JS inside Vamp, I can directly mention CSS href equal to, need not specify C drive, and don't even try to put C colon and mention Bootstrap / CSS, just like how you used to do it for HTML programs. But for this, you have to use it inside your Vamp folder only. Okay, these are the heading tags. What we have here, we have a form, and this is your linking area. Just see the form. The form action. Action is what? Whenever you click a submit button, what should happen to your form control? Now, right in the beginning, all of you were curious to know how server will understand that you have data inside the text box. So it is linked to this file. I have put every information about the text box and the button inside this file data.php. And where you have to give it? You have to give it in this particular tag, form action equal to. So this is very important. So this is very important to make your server understand that you are talking about the HTML page in this data.php. We have to write a code in PHP in this particular file. I'll be explaining about that, and make a specification here that what should be the method. Now, what is this? We should know. This is your browser indicating to the server that I am sending the information through some proper channel. Like I want to pass on the message to SSMRV either through WhatsApp or either through courier or either through a Gmail, right? So I have these three options to communicate from Dr. AT to SSMRV. So if I can use any of the options, right, to communicate. Similarly, our browser and the server, the front end and back end will be communicating with some specific standard, that is HTTP. Those are HTTP methods. We have two important methods. One is get method. There are many more, put, delete, and all are there, but we will be very frequently using only these two methods, get and post method. So this is very important for us to understand, because this is must in your HTML code, so that the server can understand through this channel only I can communicate. So just like that, nobody can understand, nobody will know that to whom I have to approach, how I have to approach, without call, without message, without email, without even sending a courier. The faculty from RV and Dr. AT cannot communicate, right? Even through air also cannot communicate. There should be some medium, and that medium is through this get method. Now, what is the difference? When you have this get method, whatever I have typed here, say I have typed the information, this information will be sent in this address bar. So it will say that name is equal to Shobha, and it will put an ampersand to add the second variable value. What it has to send? Sem is equal to 6. So this value will be sent in the address bar whenever you use get method. Now, when you do this, everyone will be able to watch this, right? Your data, what you have typed here, it will be visible to everyone. And you don't want this information to be visible to anyone. Anyone in the sense, it's not like the one who is sitting beside you, but instead those who can interact with the server, they will be able to see this information. So I don't want this to happen. See here, it will be like this. Where you have the PHP page. So this, on this form, you will be having the PHP form. To this PHP form, I'm sending the values, name and age. If you don't want to do that, then you have to mention in the form of post. So post will not reveal any information. See here, even if I put anything, even if I would have typed the data in the text box, it is not displaying over here. So you don't have any option after your PHP. So it's always good practice that you will be using your post method rather than get method. Okay, so what we have done so far now, we have identified that action has to be data.php. This data.php, you have to write down the code. Now what is important here? Important here in the designing is I have designed input type equal to text, where a text box is given, and class is farm control because Bootstrap always comes with the classes. And see here, I have given a name to the text box. What is that? Name equal to name. And what is another text box? It's for sem. Then you have a button, input type equal to submit. I have put a class button success. That's why the button is in green color. If I put button info, it will be in blue color. If I put button hyphen danger, it will be in red color. Then value is what? What you type or what you see, the text on the button. So this is all about my front end page. Now this data has to go to the backend, right? Now backend understands only the PHP. So this is your PHP code. So I'll first explain the code here. So the designing we have done. Let us see the data.php. See, this is your data.php. Now what we are having, you should start any PHP code with this syntax. I have got this. Now do the connectivity part. How to do? You have to use MySQLi. In the earlier versions, that is just 10 years before, you had only MySQL. After 2010, we had an improved version of MySQL. This is SQLi, MySQLi underscore connect. Now this statement will connect to the server with the help of a local host, And the second one is the username of that server, and password is not required since we are using a package of Xampp. And next, mention the database name. So this database name I have created in my MySQL. Okay, so the first statement is what? You have to connect to the database and assign it into a variable. Next, what? To check if your connection is successful or not. If it is not successful or if it is not able to connect, then it has to put you with a message. So what is this message? Failed to connect. So here we have used if statement. I haven't touched upon these looping statements because it will take a lot of time to get in depth of those conditional and looping statements. But since we know the basic, if the condition is true. So what is that? This is again a built-in function. MySQLi connect error. No. So then you have to display this. This is next statement. Then what we have to do? If the database is created, you have to create the table. Now, if I have to write down this code, first of all, I should know what is the name of the database, name of the table, how many fields are there. So to understand all that, let us get into a table creation. So remember, we have done this using phpMyAdmin. I have to create a database. So click on the database. I'll put it as test, or what we will have, say web workshop is the database name. Create a database. Now see, automatically your control is there under web workshop. Then it is asking you to create a table. If you can see this, web workshop is there on the left hand side and it is waiting for you to create a table. Now create a table. I will say the table name is student and I will have two fields, right? What are the fields? What do you observe here? Two fields, right? Name and sem. So I have to take two fields and click on go. Now immediately we find this window asking you to enter the values of name and age. First one, I want to give it as a name. Second one is age. Names is varchar. See here, you have all the data types. You need not sit and do hard code to write a query, to create a table or to insert. You have to just select using GUI. Now mention the length of the name is 20. I'll say 12 for the age. That's all. You need not bother about rest of the details. You have to just click on save. So now your table is created. First of all, the database is created, which is web workshop. Now the table is created, which is student, having name, varchar of size, and age, which is an init. So our database is ready. Only thing is I have to use this back into my coding. So I'll just show you the coding part. Check out, connection is done. And here I have used the semester because the semester is one which I had used earlier before writing the code. MCA is a table. So MCA is a table which is having name and semester. You can see this, name and sem, which I had shown you while demo right in the beginning of the session. So let us quickly see that what details it has got. You should have a connection, and if error is there, it has to put the error, right? Now I'll give you an important statement here. Yes. So let us see from here. insert into MCA. MCA is what? MCA is a table. Now to a table we have two fields, name and sim, into values. Now here insert query has to be written as usual. How we do it for SQL, values. And you were all asking about that important feature, what is there in this name and age text box, how the server will understand, right? So I have put ABC and whose name I have given for the text box as name, and the name for this text box is age. And now the content in this text box has to be read. And which method I have used? I have used post method. So I have to retrieve this data using $_post. If at all, if you are passing the data using get method, you have to mention $_get. So we have used $_post and give the name of that field. $_post and give the name of the variable here. So I hope this is clear now. Now through you should have a medium, right? I said you should have some source so that it can understand the markup language. Markup language is the text box created and its data is being extracted using a medium. What is that medium? Post method, $_post. Now next you have to do what? You have to run the connection. You have first of all created a connection between front end and the database, and you have executed the query and assigned into a variable called SQL. Now check if your query is getting executed. If it is not executing, then it should put an error. Assume you have some error, you have some mistake in the query, then it should put an error, right? Now what we have done, we have inserted into the database. Database has got two fields. One is name and another one is age. We have two fields. Then it has entered ABC and age is 6. So it has gone. It is there in the database, but I am not able to see it, right? The user will not be able to watch it on the browser. So what you should do, you should retrieve that back and put it onto your browser. So if you have to retrieve, you have a command or you have a query called select star from the table. Now that is what they're given here. So again, it's a MySQLi query. See here, for insert statement also you are executing SQLi query, and for retrieving, that is select star from, also you are doing SQLi query. What is this called? You are establishing the connection and executing the query and put it into a variable. Now how do I display the records? Display the records in the form of a table. Excuse me. Display the records in the form of a table. So you should have the table structure, and this table structure is being put embedded inside your PHP itself. Echo will do what? It will print. I have put a border, and this is as usual. Every one of us know how to create a table. Table tag, TR for creating a row, TH for a heading. Now TD is for what? TD for displaying the data. How do we do that? This is your important feature now. What I'm doing in the TD, I'm just using row with the name. Which name? Where you have extracted from the text box using $post, right? It is there here. You have extracted from this text box. Text box name was name me, and you have retrieved using $post, and that you have to use it here. Now this is what? This is your field name, because select star from is fetching from the database. So you have to use this. You have to repeat this as many number of fields you have in your table. Using what? Using a while statement. MySQLi fetch array. Fetching is extracting the data from this database table. So from this table, get all the data as long as the data is existing. Keep on printing that. Close the table tag and say, I said like once your data is inserted or your login is successful, PHP only has to give you a message. And see, the PHP is giving a message that records are inserted successfully. And finally, close the connection. So quickly see this. I have, now I'll put another name. So I have entered these two values. Click on insert button. See, we have the records. Two records. Now I have entered the recent record. It is Bharti and 1. Semester is 1. And the records are inserted successfully. So I got a message, right? Now what has happened? From the front end, the data is getting to the server and it is sitting in the database. And from the database, I am retrieving it back onto my browser. So it is communicating back to the client. Now, if you doesn't want any duplicates or you doesn't want anything like this, then you have to put a condition. Now, let us see that I have put a condition here. Now, I'll show you why we have used our regular expressions. So, I have put a condition telling that you have to match only numbers 0 to 9 for your semester. Then it has to say that invalid semester format if it is not like this, and asking me to enter a numeric value. So I'll just show you that option. So I'll say second. I've given the name, but instead of numeric value, I have typed second. Click on enter. So what it has put me a message? Invalid semester format, enter a numeric value. So I have put a message here. So it is asking me to do that. So I can do that, coming back and proceed. So we got the data entered since I have used it, the numeric data. So this is all about how we can establish the database connection. Guys, do you have anything to ask now? Is the communication clear between the client and server?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ma'am, can we do Dbms programs in PHP MyAdmin? Definitely you can do it, but it is only for your understanding, but not seriously as part of your curriculum, because your PHP MyAdmin is all GUI based. So let us suppose I have, I can see the SQL. See, the query is coming automatically. It is coming from the code what we have written here. I have written is select star from code, from the table, so it has come here. And let me see, select, I have insert statement, update statement, but definitely this will not fetch you any mark. You have to know clearly what the query is, because unless you don't know the query, you will not be able to write it down even in the PHP. So don't ever try for understanding the basics of your Dbms in MySQL, that too especially with the server. So this is completely the server side. You should use the server only when you know the basics. So any doubts, guys, as of now? Now, to all those participants who have, yes, Pranshu is asking like, could we, I cannot share what you guys will do as students, whenever any copy is there given to you, immediately you will copy paste the code. Instead, with all the basics, I'll try to give you all possible content to you. Make use of that, modify this and build a project. So it could be a simple project also. We have done yesterday, if you remember, we have done what? A portfolio. Just have the portfolio. Yeah. So we have portfolio designed yesterday. First, try to design this portfolio. Either it could be portfolio, or it could be even your shopping website, or you have a food ordering website, or your college canteen website. You can have all necessary images. Okay, then just check out. I have put a link here as give feedback. Click on feedback, write down your name. Okay, have a mail. Okay, then put a phone number. I have given that, and enter the comments, send. So now it has come down with a message, alert message telling that thank you for giving feedback. So click on OK, which is nothing but a modal. Let us see what it is. It has gone to a feedback table. User feedback. Now see in the database what you have entered. So I have entered the recent one at the bottom, Bharti, Shobha at Gmail, a phone number and the comment. So it is available in the database. So try to do that. And if it could be something, even the e-cart websites or the reservation websites. Try to incorporate all the components, whatever we have done so far, and try to work on. So you have to spend a lot of time. Once you do it for one simple application, just like your portfolio, you can modify any number of projects and create on your own. So before
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Before winding up, I would like to give you a small questionnaire. Everyone are there on the mobiles, right? Now I would like to put on, ask all of you to log in into menti.com. You can open. (3539). So I want all of you to open your browser and type menti.com. I have put it on the chat box, and type on this code. So open the browser and type on menti.com and type this code 35933473. So you will be finding a question there. I want all of you to answer, like, from past 3 days, past 2 days, which are all components which you have come across in Bootstrap. Yes, very good. So I want, there are 100 participants. So I want each one of you to tell at least some 15-20 components we have covered. Then give different answers. 2 of them have given the same answer. Only one component. Button group, not graph. Groups. Button groups it is. Collapse. Only one at a time. Okay, tabs, drop down, not JavaScript. JavaScript doesn't come with Bootstrap. Yes, navigation bars. Next, not tabs, yeah, TABS. Someone has put TAPS. Yes, good. Tables. Then navigation bar, done. Few more. Spinners, good. Carousel, good. Yes. So there almost you have you could remember many such points where you have gone through in past 2 days. So thank you guys, like you have remembered and you could able to identify few of the components. Fine. Now one more question which I would like to check on. Finally, whether is used for network management. Who is that? Yeah, it's not for network management. Don't give blindly. 4 of them have said false. So far, I have kept on explaining you that Bootstrap is only for designing. It is not for network management. It's not a tool or a language for network management. Guys, very sad. So, okay. So only 35 answered. Okay, ma. So out of 40, around 25 have said it false, right? Bootstrap is not used for network management. It is only a package or a front-end designing tool. Okay, so fine. To some extent, you have done very well. You were able to understand almost all the details. Hoping that you have come out with a very good knowledge out of these 3 days. One request what I would suggest is one suggestion what I would like to put on to the students is all participants with the material whatever has been given to you, please design your own portfolio. So first I'm stressing on to your portfolio because there will be all your details, your hobbies, your skill sets. I have put the details even in your WhatsApp groups also. So do this and just show to your faculties in your respective colleges. So that definitely gives a different image on and the weightage to your resumes. And even when you come back to your PGs, then also this will be an added advantage as a student for you. Still, with this, I would like to end my session of today's. And I would like to share my mail ID if you have any details or any queries to be answered. You can just put back to me. Any questions to be answered, participants? So Chetana ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
to you ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Any other doubts, any queries, participants?
No, ma'am. It was a nice
No?
session.
Okay. So, before we end the session, I would call upon our Dr. Ambika madam. Dr. Ambika ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah. To you, ma'am, for the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, all. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver vote of thanks for this event to all the dignitaries assembled here. The workshop highlights is as follows. On day 1, client server user interface, introduction to web development, grid, navigation bar, collapse were handled. Bootstrap components, forms, models, creating the portfolios were taught on day 2. Setting up the web servers, a PHP for the server code execution, introduction to PHP, creating forms and validation, creating a contact forms in PHP, and creating your own database were some of the topics dealt on day 3. My heartfelt gratitude to the speakers, Dr. Bharati S. and Ms. Shobha Rani, for your effort in educating the learners. We have been fortunate to be assisted by our principal, Dr. S. Anil Kumar, who has been a constant support. I would also like to thank the organizing team, teachers, and the staff members. Last but not the least, our beloved audience for making this workshop a grand success. Once again, thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Just give me 1 minute. I'll just post the feedback on the chat.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving us an opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And just 2 minutes, can the participants also switch on your cameras? We can just take a pic. Participants on camera, please. Yes.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Yes, ready?
Ready, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, we would
Thank
like
you.
to hear from the participants.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
I would like to know what participants would tell from the content, what you have learned from past 3 days.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. Participants, over to you. Meantime, I'll just share the feedback. So, one of you please take initiative and just speak out what
Ma'am,
you.
it was a great experience, ma'am. Especially Bharti ma'am guided us very well, ma'am. The introduction was very good and they went through the basics very well. It was an
Okay.
informative session.
Others?
Hello, ma'am. Actually, the thing is, like within 3 days of workshop, we have covered a lot of topics. I didn't thought we could cover so much, but it was like more like what topics would be covered in a month. They have covered almost in 3 days, which is an actually good thing. In 6 hours, covering a lot of topics is very difficult. And I like the second part of the workshop, the from the yesterday's one. It was quite interactive, and we got to know about many things. And finally, a portfolio, like we are capable of making a portfolio now. So it's a good session, ma'am, and it's informative too. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the college for organizing this workshop. So it was useful for everyone, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll just post the feedback. Just give me a minute. Just a minute.
Ma'am, Chetna ma'am, shall we leave?
Yes, ma'am. You can leave, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am? Hi, ma'am.
Ma'am, yesterday's and today's all the PDF will be shared in WhatsApp, no, ma'am?
Yeah. Yes. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm just sharing the feedback form.
Yeah, because yesterday's we did not got, ma'am.
I'm sending. I'm sending, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is not copying. Yes. It's opening.
ರೈಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ?
ಅದೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ.
ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? ಇದಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ವೆಬ್?
This one.
ವೆಬ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್.
Just give me 2 minutes. Just sending. ಈಗ ರೈಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ತದೆ.
Can we leave?
Yeah, 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Uh, students. Ah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have admitted. Yeah, I admitted, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. The feedback link is shared. You can fill. I don't know, ma'am. It was working only. I hope all of you are filling the feedback form.
Already filled, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody else yet to fill?
Mom, is the feedback form has been sent to group?
No, we'll not send it in the group. It's posted in the chat. That's why I'm waiting here. Please fill it now. We'll not be sending it in the group.
Yes.
By when can we expect the certificate?